Hello again. It has long been suspected by many people in Britain that members of visible minorities are frequently given jobs or promoted not because of their ability, simply because of the colour of their skin. Such claims are usually ridiculed by liberal, left wing, and progressive folk, but every so often the idea receives cast iron confirmation. We saw this a little while ago with the Royal Air Force, and now a police force near London has been caught in the very act of directly discriminating against white officers and promoting somebody from sergeant to detective inspector because they'd received orders from the deputy chief constable of the force to diversify senior officers. A vacancy had been advertised in the Thames Valley Force for a detective inspector in the force's priority crime team, and three white officers already holding the rank of inspector wished to apply for the post. They had, on average, 20 years' experience between them, as they each of them had served in the force for at least 20 years. Instead of an open application process, though, orders were given that an Asian woman, who was at that time only a sergeant, would be immediately promoted to inspector and then installed in the post without an interview. This was a plain case of racial discrimination, with the three white people being disadvantaged due to the colour of their skin, or as the employment judge who heard the case put it, the protected characteristic of their race. In the description to this video, I give a link to a local newspaper in Reading which reports this case. I need perhaps hardly say that it is fairly typical of what is going on in this country in many areas, not just in public bodies such as the police, fire brigade, armed forces, and civil service. This is one of those things of which we are all aware, but about which a taboo exists. That is to say, there is a tacit agreement among educated and professional people, academics, senior civil servants, newspaper editors, and all those who go to make up what was at one time known as the establishment, that this should never be spoken of out loud. They operate the system and rig the game against white people who belong predominantly to the working class and hope that nobody will talk about it. In general, they are successful because the only people who ever object to this monstrous scheme are white working class people, and everybody knows that their views and opinions may safely be ignored or dismissed as racism. In this way, a racket which now permeates the whole country is able to operate without anybody wishing to speak of it. All that is important is that when photographs of a group of firemen or police officers appear in the newspapers, there are plenty of black and Asian faces to be seen. It hardly matters if they're up to the job, it is only the colour of their skin which is of significance. There was a time, and not so very long ago, when we all dreamed of a time when we might one day live in a nation where people will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character. I forget offhand which American orator said this. We do still seem to be a long way off from that goal.